What's up, Hotshotters, man? Welcome back. We are dealing with some truck issues. And I want to tell you all about the Ram dealership. Now, of course, I tell anybody that's looking to get into this business, before you get in, figure out a plan or a strategy of how you're going to get out. And I say that to say these trucks are not going to last forever, especially for Hotshotters. For big trucks, they're built for that. These Hotshot trucks, these heavy duty, or I guess they call them medium duty, but these 3500s, 4500, 5500 Rams, if you afford whatever. I have a Ram. I don't know too much about the Fords, but either way, these heavy duty pickup trucks are naturally not built to, they're built to tow and haul, but they're not built to long distance on a continuous basis. And you will know that by the way that our tires wear out quicker than, you know, big trucks. And then also the issues that come up, and they normally come up quicker. So the last month, my truck has stopped 2 times. It's shut off. Now, both times have been when I was in park. Actually, one was when as soon as I put it in, I was at a truck stop, ended my day, put it in park, and just had got done parking. As soon as I put it in park, shut off. So I'm like, damn, what's going on? Try to hit it. Not going. Try to hit it again. Not going. Oh, don't tell me this is gonna happen. So I tried a third, I wait. And I tried a third time. And it starts up, boom, check engine light on. I'm like, what the? I'm under warranty. Tell you about that in a few, but and again, I've said this in previous videos, they're going to try to get out of the warranty somehow. They're going to try to make it your fault. Now, I'm going to actually be probably in a battle trying to make sure my warranty lasts the last 52,000 miles I have on it, or 42,000, because it's only 100,000. It's really just to get you really through your first year, because unless you're going to pay a lot of money for your warranty, you'll probably get one for 100,000 miles 1 year, blah, blah. If you're a normal guy like me, if you're a genius, hey, congratulations. But either way, so that happened that first time. The second time, I went home all the way to Chicago, drove, and on the way back, so I filled up. Everybody knows how diesel works, especially if you're not hauling anything. I filled up the truck, and it got me from Illinois to Charlotte. You know, that's not outrageous. That's not even unnormal to think about. When I was on the way back, I was about 2 hours out. I got a message saying that my exhaust system wasn't working correctly, C dealership. And then I started seeing that my DPF gauge was going up, meaning that it was basically dirty air, dirty particles that kind of would blow out. But of course, they have a system on these newer trucks. So I noticed that, but I'm 2 hours away from home. I don't want to stop. It's in the middle. It's like 1 a.m. And I'm like, I can't stop right now. I gotta at least try to get home. So I felt that it wasn't necessarily allowing me to get over hills. It was just kind of like, it didn't have any power behind it. I assumed that the exhaust system shut down at that point. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest. So then I hit 2 stoplights before I got home. The first one, it shimmied a little bit, didn't cut off. I'm like, cool, whatever. The second one, right before I got home, as soon as I stopped, shuts off. So I press the start again. Damn. Press the start again. I'm like, oh. But I'm right down the street from the house. I'm like, hey, I'll push it. I'm not going to push it, but I'll park it around the corner, come get it. You know, we'll figure it out in the morning. I'll get some sleep. So it wasn't the worst case scenario, but it's always the worst case scenario when your truck is cutting off. So yes, it was. So anyway, I press the pedal to give it some fuel. Boom, it starts up. So I'm not really connecting all the dots, But again, the check engine light came on. So again, as you can see, it's a train of the exhaust, then shut off, then the check engine came on. Okay. So then I'm like, I'd already, after the first one, you know, I was basically already planning on going, I set my appointment to go to the shop because I'm like, nah, you're under warranty. You're way too new to be giving me any issues. Anyway, I take it there. He tells me, yeah, we pulled a lot of codes. There's a lot of codes. And the biggest thing is the fuel pumps. Wow. They were right about the fuel pumps. They were right about that. Gonna need, it's 2 fuel pumps, lower and a higher. The lower one is covered under your warranty. The higher one is not. We're gonna need about $1,400, $1,500 of your money. I'm like, all right, man. Hey, if that's what it takes, if that's what it is, all right. He's like, well, bad thing is those 2 things are on back order for at least 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay. So he calls me back. He's like, let me call you back, see how long it's gonna be, and then we'll I'm like, oh, terrible day. Call me back. Oh man, this got a lot worse, man. You have gasoline in your tank. I say, no, I don't. I'm the only one that drives that truck. I've heard of all the horror stories about death, getting in the tank, in the diesel tank, and all of that. I just know, hey, pay attention. This is very important. I pay attention. I don't mess up when it comes to that. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, if that's the case, it'll have to be bad gas at a fuel station. But I went to a truck stop. I was at a Love's, you know, they're national, you know, blah, blah. So he's like, yeah, well, there's gas in there. I smell, the technician just brought it to me and I smelled it. And I said, yep, that's gas. Now, to me, I'm a newbie, but gas and diesel smells a little bit alike. I mean, if I have my eyes closed, I might be able to, but they still have they're still connected in a way where they have a similar smell. They are different, but it's similar. So if you're doing a smell test, and after it's been in my tank, and again, I got fuel in Illinois. There's no way that my truck would run from Illinois to Charlotte with a full tank of gas. But I'm a newbie, so I don't know. Anyway, he said, with that being said, everything's voided with the warranty. It's going to be about $5,000. Not sure if you're going to need new injectors in the engine. That's going to be another $1,200. So I call my buddy, man. I call my friend, and that's what you need real friends for. That's why you need mentors. That's why you need to network. And before you get into the business, I'm not saying don't jump in, because I jumped in, but do your research. Get some people that you know that you can talk about this stuff, who's been through it a little bit. And if they're not willing to help, get somebody else. There's some other people. The trucking community is a great one. They help each other. I've realized that. So anyway, he say, man, what is your mileage? I'm like, I'm at 57,000. Have you changed your air filter? I'm like, nah. And I thought he was talking about the cabin air filter. I didn't know it was the actual air filter in the engine. Now, again, these are newbie things that I'm going to come across. And, you know, when you get so caught up in the game, you don't necessarily look at your manual. I have a whole list of the preventative maintenance. But I will admit I got a little bit behind that. And I thought I was only supposed to have to do that at 60,000 miles. So 60,000 miles, I was already planning on, it's an air filter somewhere. I mean, I thought it was under there. I didn't know it was actually, it's one under there too, under your glove compartment. That's the cabin. The one under your engine is whatever, but it's air filter. Or not even under your engine, it's kind of next to it. But anyway, he's like, yeah, bro, I'm pretty almost positive that's the thing, because you lost power. Your fuel is probably dirty. Your diesel is probably getting dirty because that air filter is filthy, or it's not clean, blah, blah. If you change that happened to me. If you change that, that'll probably fix the issue. Ain't no way gas is in your tank, man. But I go pick up the truck. They're telling me to smell it. I'm like, this smells like diesel, but all right. But I know they're just trying to basically get out of the whole warranty so that if something does happen, they can say, you have gas in your fuel. Like, we can't fix anything. So I'm going to fight that battle myself. But I do want to show you all the actual air filter. I'm pretty positive that's what it was. Now, I'm changing this air filter. I'm also going to change the fuel filters again, which I'm not necessarily do, but because the air filter was dirty, I feel like everything needs to just be changed out. So I'm going to change the fuel filters. I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to put some fuel additive in there with the diesel because it's basically on E. And I'm trying to just run everything out. And then I doubt there's gasoline in there, but whatever. I'm not even about to cipher it out. I thought about it, but I doubt. I'm not. No. If it is gas, and I called the gas station. They confirmed. I was on the phone with them for 40 minutes because they had to look it up. They confirmed. I had the receipt. I looked at the invoice number. I gave them the invoice number, the date. They confirmed I got 43 gallons of diesel. So that's confirmed. They sent me a copy of all that and everything. So if there is an issue, then it looks like I have a lawsuit on my hand, but I highly doubt that's the case. I think the dealership is just absolutely wrong. They're guessing out their ass because what they're doing, and my friend told me this, what they're doing is just pulling the code. And he even said that, yeah, we pulled the code and it said low fuel shortage or something like that. Basically, it's not getting enough fuel flow or something of that nature. Just not flowing right. And so we just we advised new fuel pumps. That was after we saw that it was fuel contamination with gas in there. So we advised. And I'm like, y'all just don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Y'all just trying to, one, void my warranty. One, y'all just pulled the codes and said, okay, this is just the general area. Let's just fix all this right here in that area. And that should be. Y'all didn't even check the air filter. Now, you're the dealership. I don't know. I'm new. I got good friends that's going to tell me, but thank God I got them, because why wouldn't you check the air filter? That would, after I show you this air filter, you're going to know that these dealerships are full of it. So let's take a look. So what we do and what we did was take the screws. The filter is actually located under here. So we took all the screws out. I found a video on YouTube. I'm not going to even waste our time on going through it because it's very easy. You can just find another video on YouTube on how to do it. Take these screws out, loosen this up right here so that you can take that tubing out, I guess is what you would call it. There's a little switch. You take these loose, you pull this up, and then the filter is under here. This is the old filter. I would likely say this is the issue. I would likely say this is probably why my fuel is dirty and not getting, the proper. Come on, look at that. I'm surprised the truck even running. But they didn't even check this. I took it to the dealership. They didn't even check that. So my advice to everybody is learn how to do this stuff on your own. And even if you don't know how to do it on your own, get some people around you, some networking partners that know what they're talking about. I changed the air filter, changed the fuel filters, get an oil change. The truck is running as good as it was when I first bought it. I'm like, oh, wow. I get back on the road, head into Denver, Colorado. First 2-3 days are perfect. Boom, everything's great. As I'm getting in Colorado, coming out of Kansas, exhaust system issue, see dealership. I'm going up the mountain just crawling because now I have a load on the back. Coming from Chicago, it was just me and the truck. Now I got a load trailer. It's crawling. I'm like, So I try to pull over, turn it off, cut it back on, try to reset. Boom. Doesn't work because I only did it for like 2 seconds. Boom. I'm like, I can't even go. I might be stranded. So I'm like, all right, let me try to put something told me, because I remember the dealership told me it was giving them a low fuel code. Then I remember when this happened in Texas, I was below a quarter tank of diesel. When it shut off in Charlotte, almost when I got back home, I was below a quarter tank of diesel. I'm currently below a quarter tank or near a quarter tank of diesel, and I'm in the mountains. It's doing the same thing. Maybe it needs more fuel. Maybe it just need more in there. I got a fuel tank of diesel in the aux tank. I open it up, let the car sit for 10 minutes. Boom, we're back in business. Everything's working great. That tells me right there, boom. Wow, they were right about the fuel pumps. They're right about that. I do need fuel pumps. And the reason was because of the air filter got clogged up. That probably messed up the oil of the fuel filters. And, it just after that, it goes to the fuel pump. So that it probably contaminated there. So I'm like, they're right. I'm gonna need it. Lucky for me, I just got over 60,000, so now none of it's covered under warranty. One of them was at first, now both of them aren't. So they win. But I say that to say it's very important for us to really know the maintenance. And I do know most of the maintenance. It technically wasn't almost time. You know, normally it says around 60,000 miles, but I gotta remember, and we gotta remember, we put these trucks through so much. You know, where I'm in California, I'm in desert, you know, areas sometimes. So all that dust and, you know, it gets clogged up. We need to do our maintenance. Of course, we already know that about, like I said, oil changes and the fuel filters, but the air filters as well. I wasn't at 60,000 miles yet, but it was probably time. I probably should have changed it around 48, 50,000, to be honest. And now I might start doing it on a monthly basis, because to be honest, it's not a lot. It costs $25 to $50 depending on the brand, and it's very easy to do. So I say all that to say, man, hopefully everything goes well. I spoke to the dealership. We're getting those ordered. I see that I do need them, even though they were absolutely wrong. They were going to cost me an additional $3,000, because now to get the fuel pumps is going to be around $27 to $3,000. But they were charging me at first, because they have to drop the tank, because they were saying there was gas in my tank. They were charging me close to $6,000, $5,000 to $6,000. That's money out the door. You're really putting, so they are absolutely out of order. But they were right about me needing new fuel pumps. But they were basically just going to get an additional $2,000 to $3,000 out of me. Keep in mind, guys, this is something that we must remember, because it can mess up a lot of other things. And luckily, I think I'm okay. Let's pray. Pray I'm okay. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get below a half of tank. And he said I shouldn't have any issues. You know, it could eventually get worse, but he said, you know, I should be able to last until November, which is when the parts are coming in. Unfortunately, I mean, I have no other choice but to keep driving. So again, I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get below a half a tank of gas. I'm just going to play it safe. And he said that he thinks I'll be okay until then. Learn this lesson with me, and let's stay getting to the money. Peace.